welcome to California Roving Weather Updates Live, where we travel the length of California to get you the latest in weather news. That's right, friends. Right now we're on the 99 highway in central and the middle of California, going down what's known as the Central Valley, here between Fresno and Bakersfield. As I left the Yosemite area some couple of hours ago, it was just about to start snowing. It's not remarkably cold or anything, but it was snowing. I just got off the phone with Rachel, and she indicated to me that we've gotten a couple inches of snow so far that it's stuck. But more remarkably to me has been the weather since I left Mariposa County. It has been pouring rain consistently the whole time since I left Mariposa County. Fresno looks quite flooded. The highways are pretty wet here, and I've done a decent bit of hydroplaning. The rate of speed, understandably, is pretty slow on these highways, and I don't know if you saw that sign there, said watch for flooding the next 13 miles. So it's definitely the case that we're seeing a lot of water throughout the state this last week or so, and today is certainly no exception. Hi Rachel, I'm Boba Fett. Welcome to the adventure called Talking with Famous People. It's an adventure I hope you never forget. So, obviously, getting on the later side of the day here. It's 5:11, and I should warn everybody that I do have a scheduled 6 o'clock phone call to help Chloe with her very, very important vocabulary sentences. We wouldn't want her to get anything less than an A+ on every assignment, would we? The answer is no, we wouldn't. So, one advantage of having this weather stream here, and despite the rather extreme levels of weather that we're looking at here, I can't help but feel pleased by all the rain, as the state can always use the water. So this live stream will be wrapping up in about 45 minutes in order for me to have that phone call. Which is fine. We only have so much to say about the weather after all. Anyway, if you're from California and want to know what the weather is like right here where I am, well, at exit 106 on Highway 99, Merritt Drive, coming up in 1 mile, the weather is rainy. Very rainy. And showing no signs of letting up. One of my concerns in making this trip today is that I'm hoping that it's not snowing over the Tejon Pass. The Tejon Pass is part of what's known as the Grapevine, which is this mountain road that you go across to get from the 5 Interstate 5 into Los Angeles. So this highway, the 99, will turn into the 5 relatively soon. Like, you know, not super soon. After Bakersfield. But regardless of how you want to interpret things, this is a sizable amount of rain. I actually asked directions on the app just to get a sense of whether I'd run afoul of snow over the grapevine. It did pose to me an alternate route, but the winter storm warning was actually for that alternate route, not for over the grapevine. So I'm going to assume the grapevine is clear. But, you know, hope for the best. Normally when I make this trip, I'm averaging a solid 75 miles an hour for this part of the highway at least. But on this trip, I'm locked in at under 65 because obviously it's fairly sketchy driving. As you see here, the rain that just picked up got more intense. Now I was smart. On my way through Oakhurst, I stopped at McDonald's. And currently have at my disposal for general enjoyment purposes, 1 large Coca-Cola and 1 large coffee with 8 creamers put in. I don't mean to make Rachel jealous of my McDonald's. But sometimes that's just how it goes. Now, without getting into it in a lot of detail, I will tell you that to some extent perhaps this live stream represents a warm-up for some later content production that I have to do this evening when I get back into Mariposa. Wow, it's really coming down now. It links to a typing session I did earlier. Wow, it is really raining. So if you are around Tulare, I would guess, here in the Central Valley, you know what I'm talking about. It is really raining right now. Anyway, it's a rather, I guess you could say, disturbing story involving another YouTuber broadly in the typology community, I guess. And get over this idiot. Like, as he's hydroplaning across the road, he still wants to go faster. Okay, dude, well, you do you, I guess, but it seems a little unwise to me to be hauling so much ass in this weather. Anyhow, for those who just joined us, we're here driving down the Central Coast on Highway 99 in California, and I have got nothing but very steady, heavy rain the whole time since I left Mariposa all the way down through Fresno. distance between Fresno and Bakersfield. Obviously, given the circumstances, I can't really read the chat at all. So I hope you'll excuse me for not doing so. Anyhow, this content that I'm going to make later is going to be calling out another specific YouTuber for some bullshit that I think we'll all agree is bullshit when we hear it. I don't want to get into it quite yet. I know it's like, hey, why are you even telling us about it? You're not going to tell us about it. I am going to tell you about it. I'm just not going to tell you about it now. And part of the reason I'm not going to tell you about it now is because I need to do a little bit more research, and also because I just feel like I need to process the whole thing a little bit more. Anyhow, I have that to look forward to, you know, 8 hours from now, 9 hours from now. I'm not sure exactly what my round trip time frame looks like. I may begin discussing the matter explicitly on the way back, but I kind of guess I kind of figure I want to save it till the way back too. Like, if I'm gonna talk it out, I'd rather do it. I'd rather save some stuff to talk about till later, I guess. And I'm also hopeful the weather will be calmed down a little bit later, because in Mariposa anyway, it's supposed to wrap up this evening, and then we're supposed to not get any more rain for a few days. I don't know if that's the schedule for the rest of California or not, but like, as I'm moving south, I've already traveled, I don't know, well, and I see not a single, like, dent in storm anyway, in any direction. It's just all gray in every direction, fully socked in, showing no signs of relenting anytime soon. But, you know, a few hours can make a big difference in a storm like this. Alright, so you may be wondering, Eric, please do tell us, what is this town that you are passing through right now? Well, I will tell you if I can figure out what it is, you know. It's hard for me to say for sure right now without the presence of a sign. I don't know if you can feel those. I doubt it since you're watching on YouTube. But I periodically hit little flooded spots that cause the car to kind of not like slither back and forth, but change its feel to the road somewhat. As you see, we're headed to Bakersfield, Los Angeles, bypassing Visalia in the process. But here we are at Visalia. Now, earlier when I first turned on my directional thing, said there was a slowdown just past Visalia. I don't see it yet, but it may still occur. We'll have to see. Maybe they got it cleared up. If you're wondering what is your weather like here in Visalia, California, the answer is it's raining. Raining quite a bit. I see lots of flooded areas alongside the road. You know, there's flooding flooding on the shoulders. So, potential for a lot of problems. However, I haven't encountered any accidents yet. There is a winter storm travel advisory in effect. So do as I say and not as I do. And stay at home, folks. You don't want to be out on these roads today. No sirree, Bob, Mary, James, or Adam. Did some fairly decent hydroplaning there. So obviously, good reason to be careful. Tulare is coming up in 9 miles. Bakersfield, a little more than an hour away at 72 miles. Given my current rate of speed at 65 miles per hour. Coming up here, we're seeing a sign going to indicate some information to us. Stop traffic ahead. Use caution. Okay, so I'll downshift to 3rd gear. And obviously that slowdown I was warned about has come to fruition. I'm going to get over here to the middle lane, and I think the reason the traffic is stopped, I'm guessing, might have to do with the level of flooding on the road. I see a lot of people getting off here at this exit. Oh, maybe that's the reason the traffic is stopped, is all these people getting off at this exit. And for those of us continuing forward, there will be no stoppage in traffic. That's certainly possible. We see on the other side of the freeway is there's some police action going on over there. You can see that right there, hopefully. But that's fortunately not on this side of the freeway. Now here we've got more stoppage of traffic, which suggests that line to get off the freeway may not have been the full extent of the stopped traffic indicated by that sign. So we'll just have to see how this plays out. Well, I'm actually seeing a little bit of sky over there to the, I don't know which direction, probably east. I'm heading south. No, west. Well, as you may be able to see in those signs there, the left lane ends here, which means that we, currently occupying the left lane, are going to need to get over. Alright, so I'll get over here behind this red truck and in front of this red car. And let me update you as to our location. We are closing in on the beautiful town of Tulare in just a meager 12 miles. No, 2 miles, sorry. In just 2 miles, exit 91. That's when we reach the lovely town of Tulare. It's a town that we often stop at to get weed and weed-related supplies. And to be honest, I'm a little inclined to do that now. Except, I think I'm not going to, because I realized I do have plenty of weed in here, actually. It's just in the form of roaches, but I can just smoke those, that's fine. I didn't bring any weed with me, which is unusual, but well, you can see it is opening up a little bit over there. So, as part of our roving weather report, you should know that to the west, here in Tulare, we're seeing some clearing, some gradual clearing to the west. And I hope you Tulare residents are appreciating that, valuing the opportunity for a little break in the rain. I know here in the Central Valley, the farmers always appreciate a good amount of of what are probably almond trees. Almonds are frequently grown around here. And on that side, you see more agricultural style stuff going on. Because that's the kind of place Tulare is. Very agricultural minded place. But with that clearing, we do seem to be experiencing a bit of a slowdown in the rainfall. It's a little less vigorous pounding that I'm taking from the water drops. Taking a vigorous pounding. It sounds rather sexualized, I will agree. But it's also fair to say that California is taking rather a vigorous pounding from the storm. Rachel and I in Mariposa, somewhat less than other parts of the state. Rachel was telling me that apparently San Diego is very much flooded. So up in the mountains, we can handle a little bit more volume of water, in part because obviously it runs downhill. Alright, we'll put that thread out. Turn on the windshield wipers again. And fill everybody in on both the weather and our current location. So we're here at exit 88 on the 91 freeway. Just outside Tulare. And we're moving at a slow clip for a highway drive, which is to say we're clocking in the low 50s at the moment, about 50 miles an hour. But conditions aren't particularly suitable for higher rates of speed, especially in this portion of the freeway that they've chopped down to 3 lanes. There's this little wall to the left of me. There's this whole section of freeway in between the walls that they're working on, I guess. So I'm trying to keep a respectable distance between me and the big rig in front of me, just in case something goes awry. But I don't particularly think something will go awry. I guess we're still in Tulare, rather a bigger town than perhaps you'd expect. And you can see here that the sun is gradually setting on us. Corcoran, this town coming up in a little bit, I guess, is, I believe, the location of one of the state prisons here in the middle of the flat part of the state. And as you can see on this sign here, we're heading south on the 99, straight through towards Bakersfield. I would guess we've got, probably 45 minutes left till Bakersfield. Maybe a little bit longer than that. This guy behind me definitely wants me to go faster. I have sped up a bit. I'm going like 65 now. But conditions have gotten better. Of course, twilight's never ideal for driving. Not that it's necessarily worse than night, but it definitely does feel like I'm making some better progress here. Behind me wants so much to go fast. I figure I will let him go past me and then fill in behind him. So for the record, that was home fries. Right there in front of me, that's home fries. And he thought that I was going too slowly. Well, now we're in a 55 mile per hour zone. So I've slowed it down a hair. And I'm going to let this truck that's coming up behind me on the left pass me, and then I'll get back over in the left lane. Well, we've gotten all the way down to Avenue 83, exit 83, I mean. So, you know, that's progress. It wasn't that long ago that we were in the 90s. So if you're in the vicinity of just past Tulare heading south on the 99, what you're experiencing right now is some light rain corresponding with the sunset. And I would guess the prospect of a night full of off and on rainfall between the light and moderate variety. But then, you know, I'm no expert on weather. I'm not an actual meteorologist, I just play one on YouTube. So, for those of you who are expecting actual meteorology, you're probably in the wrong place. So there are 58 miles to go to Bakersfield. That's a little bit more than I expected, so we're going to be more than 45 minutes until Bakersfield. Probably a little closer to an hour. But that's what you get when you're traveling in weather like this. You can reliably expect your rate of speed to be dramatically lower than it would otherwise be were you traveling in normal conditions. As you can see, the weather has started up again, providing still more rain to wetten the roads, slowen the pace, but also to make the whole thing just a little bit more cozy. And that's not all bad. So given the conditions, naturally I've been driving with my lights on since I left home in the middle of the afternoon. But we're now entering a time period where I'm going to have to drive with my lights on because it's getting dark. So it's a good time for me to have two working headlights, which I do. And with the rain coming down at this rate of speed, obviously one ideally increases the rate of care with which one drives. But what do I look like? The safety police? speed now to 67 miles an hour, which is plenty quick for these kind of wet and increasingly dark conditions. Visibility is definitely an issue. We're just passing the Martorella livestock auction yard here in the Central Valley. Obviously no livestock auction business going on right now, but if you're in the market for a cow or something, that's a good place to go. If you're in the Tulare Central Valley area and you want to buy a cow, I'll go ahead and recommend that livestock market as the place for you. Now, we're no longer in Tulare, of course. We are in Tipton. Beautiful Tipton, more or less, I'm sure, indistinguishable from Tulare, except perhaps a little smaller. Tipton, no doubt, like almost every town in this region, got its start as a central town kind of agricultural processing center for the farms that grew food and stuff around it. Now you still have this region very much devoted towards agriculture, but much of the population, I would guess, is not actually in the agriculture business. Hence you have these little kind of travel stop towns, have gas stations, fast food, etc., servicing the population of motorists traveling down the 99, even though ostensibly they're farming towns, you know. Well, I must say the image on the phone is coming out rather brighter than it looks in real life. It's getting quite dark to my eyes outside, but it looks rather brighter than that on the camera. So congratulations to you for increased viewability. Alright, we now have 51 miles to Bakersfield, having traversed a total of 4 miles since our last sign indicating the distance to Bakersfield. I've got about 13 minutes until my phone call / the end of this live stream. And then I will probably live stream again on the way back from LA. Probably I'll start that stream after I get over the Grapevine. So once I'm back, you know, on the other side of Bakersfield, coming back into Mariposa from Los Angeles. As I indicated earlier, I am a little bit sketched out about, or worried about, whether I'm going to have problems getting over the Tejon Pass, which is part of the Grapevine. It's a little before Gorman, I believe. Anyway, it's the highest spot of the Grapevine, and a place in which during winter storms sometimes there's snow there and it becomes impassable. It's not like they let people pass with chains on, they just shut it down. So, from what I can tell, so far, based on my looking shit up, it's passable. It's not snowed in. But I won't feel confident about that reality until I get there and determine that it's not snowed in person. As it gets later, if it's still raining down there, it may be raining snow instead of rain, which is what happens when it gets cold. But anyway, I had already told them to take their winter advisory and shove it. So now it's too late for me to go back on that. Now, I will admit that I did not tell them where to shove it, so they could have interpreted that more or less positively depending on where they thought I meant to shove it. But no matter where I told them to shove it, it probably wasn't the most polite way of dealing with the weather advisory people. On the quaintly named town of Early Mart. Sure, it might sound like the name of a convenience store, but it's actually the name of a town. A town that is filled largely with convenience stores, but that nevertheless is not itself a convenience store. And of note, I don't believe there are any convenience stores within the town of Early Mart that are actually named Early Mart. So keep that in mind. That's an important factor to consider. Do you have a vine mealybug? Well, if so, you can secure control with a twist thanks to Isomate. That's how agricultural this whole area is, right? When you drive past billboards, they say things like, "Do you have vine mealybug? If so, try this pesticide." I didn't even know there was a bug called vine mealybug, but now I do know that. So, since there's only 8 people here, I'm assuming these are all real people who are normally around here. And let me reiterate, later on, we've got some, I hate to call it juicy because it's much more horrible than that, but we definitely have some YouTube beef on the griddle. And it's going to be sizzling up into some serious flames, I suspect. Like I said, I don't want to go into the deets about it now, but it's not because I'm denying you access to the deets. I will go into the deets later. So, you don't have to accuse me of pulling like, I've got a big secret, but I can't tell you. I will tell you. I'm just not going to tell you right now. And I'm not going to make you wait forever either. I'll tell you all about it probably starting on the live stream. And then Rachel and I will need to make a video about it. And Rachel, if you feel inclined and want to watch the related content that we need to watch, that would probably be a cool way to kind of get a head start on it. And you can call me and talk to me about it. I mean, I guess I'm gonna have to watch it too, but anyhow, as you can see, it's stopped raining. We're just getting a little bit of spray from the car in front of us. So, early March, you represent, really the first true stoppage of raining. We've had rain reductions heretofore, but in terms of full stop no rain, this seems perhaps the first occasion I've had of it since I left Mariposa. I don't know if we're just hitting the eye of the storm, as they say, or if in fact it's starting to break up, move past us, presumably into eastern California / Arizona, Nevada areas. Certainly plausible. Of course, for us here on the West Coast, but I think this is kind of true for most of the country, weather tends to move west to east and not the other direction. It's what you might call an onshore flow. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, an onshore flow. The storm leave the ocean, come out over the land, they weaken over the land, but Rachel was saying that it was snowing at our house last time I talked to her, which wasn't a super long time ago. And maybe it still is. I find it very beautiful when it snows. I love to look at it. It's soothing to the soul. So, I've got about 4 minutes left till I need to take a phone call. So I guess I will wrap up this stream now. Thanks everybody who was here for being here. And look forward to more streaming again in not a long time. 4 hours or so probably. So I'm back streaming again on the way back home. Thanks, bye.